Holiday season is here, and that means trees, swag, and poinsettias. Perry Stothard from Classic Landscapes and Ella's Gift and Garden joins us this morning with a look at how to bring out some of the outdoors indoors this season. Good morning, Perry. How you doing?
Good morning, Mike. I'm fantastic.
Well, good, because those who are looking for Christmas trees maybe aren't that fantastic right now, because obviously there is the shortage. So for those who've been able to get Christmas trees, we're going to talk about how to take care of them so that they last throughout the season.
Yeah, there definitely has been a shortage, which a lot of people have been talking about this year. So if you're lucky enough to have one, as you said, it's really important to take care of it. We want it to last through the holidays. And generally speaking, it doesn't matter what kind of Christmas tree, whether it was a Fraser fir, a balsam, or a Scots pine. You can be really good at taking care of it, and then it's going to last through the season. So one of the key things, of course, is water. It will take up water. A good rule of thumb is about 1 liter of water per inch caliper. So that's the diameter of the trunk. So if the diameter of the trunk is 4 to 6 inches, you're going to get 4 to 6 liters of water that it's going to utilize any given day. So it's really important in your tree stand that it has a reservoir for water and you keep that topped up, because if it dries out, it's going to be tough to get that water cycle going again to keep the needles looking fresh through the holidays.
Another thing that's great about your operation, Perry, is you've got lots of good gift ideas. So let's share some of those with us.
Yeah, this time of year, it's always something that, what we're hearing a lot of this year is an interest in sort of handmade items, whether it's, a shop local sort of vibe or whatever. And so whether you get something like, Christmas cards or something that's handmade, I've got a couple samples here. These are a handmade Christmas card. So something that's got a little bit more of a handmade touch, whether you made them yourself or you purchase them this way, it's something you can pick up again, something that's a little bit beyond just the average typical sort of card. And one thing that's really popular this time of year is greens arrangements. I know sometimes we're maybe having muted celebrations, but there's still opportunities to celebrate with family this year. So amaryllis bulbs, which I've got here, you can see this beautiful flower. They actually come in a bulb. You don't have to water them or anything. They'll flower through Christmas. And amaryllis are a really beautiful, well-known Christmas flower. And again, we've done some things with birch tree arrangements just to kind of mix it up, or greens arrangements like I have here. Again, something that's unique and different. Maybe you can bring it as a gift or a present, or even decorate around your home to give it a little bit more of a festive feel when we talk about the holidays. And again, something that's easy to take care of. Even live greens, you just water them and they'll actually soak up the water and they can look great for a long time. And if you really want to extend their life, you can move them outside, and if they freeze, they'll look great for a few months until the spring.
Another thing that we've become accustomed to over the holiday season over the past few years is ice on the driveway and on the sidewalk. So let's talk about the different options we have with respect to ice melt, Perry.
Yeah, there's no question we've had some pretty wild rain so far. It's been like sheets of ice out there, and it's really important to understand. We talked about ice melt last time in terms of just being able to shovel off your driveway as quickly as possible and trying to minimize overall the use of ice melt. A lot of times when you're out there making a selection on the kinds of ice melt, you might see on the bag it says -15 or -25, -32. And really, what does that mean? Rock salt is going to be the melting point that's more like -50, and that's basically sodium chloride. It's like mineral salt. It'll leave a white residue. Again, it's not as good for colder temperatures. And again, it can be a little bit more corrosive and not as healthy for plants. So generally, if you see something where it says on the bag, always follow the instructions for anything you're going to purchase. But if you see something that says more maybe environmentally safe or pet safe, that typically is going to mean it has more calcium chloride, or CMA, which is calcium magnesium acetate, which is a mouthful. But basically, safer products, they will actually melt ice at lower temperatures. That's when you start to get into the low 20s, early 30s. And that's something that can be more effective for you. So look for that. I would stay away, though, from rock salt. Typically speaking, it's going to be less expensive, but again, it's not going to be as good for your vegetation or even for your driveway itself.
Is your preference to maybe just go with sand or rock chips, even though it doesn't necessarily melt, but it creates traction?
Yeah, and that, to your point, is actually the most environmentally friendly, because you're definitely not going to have any issues with your concrete or plant life around maybe your turf, or if you've got flower beds and things like that, if you go with rock chips. And we do a lot of rock chips. There's even a mix, we call it pickled rock chips, where we'll mix in ice melt with the rock chips. Again, it provides traction, and that can be very safe. But sometimes traction, if you're over top of ice, is not going to be as safe if you don't get rid of that ice. And so sometimes, like we had the other day when you have rain and things like that, you really need to deal with the ice problem before you can cover it up, so to speak. But again, rock chips is always a good option.
Pickled rock chips. You learn something new every day, Perry. Thank you so much for coming on. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, take care. Merry Christmas.
Same to you, Perry. For more great ideas on how you can get involved and get the proper products and find gift ideas, it's Classic Landscaping, Ellerslie Gift and Garden. They're at 100th Street and 6th Avenue. More information, there's a phone number and a website.